The Milwaukee Bucks are starting to concern me. And yes, guys, I understand. They just won their game against the Knicks as I'm recording this video on January 10th. But the bigger issue I'm having with the Bucks here isn't necessarily with their record or me going to sit here and tell you guys they can't make it to the playoffs or they're about to just be a flop of a team. But the issues with the Bucks are just becoming more and more glaring with each game they've played. And honestly, I think the biggest root of their issue right now is Mike Budenholzer's coaching, along with obviously some of it being injuries. I understand that. But watching this team in the half court can be just one of the most unbearable experiences you can ever have. And it's because they try so hard to run the Giannis 5 out, which I understand, again, because you're trying to let Giannis be able to just dominate the paint. But according to Basketball Reference, the Bucks are currently 23rd in offensive rating. And every other season before this season, the Bucks were always a top 10 offense, bare minimum, let alone top 5. And now this team is not even top half in the league. Something has gone wrong. And before quite diving into what's gone wrong, I just really wanted to thank you guys. Almost 300 subs, and we've officially almost only reached like 2 months on the channel. I just wanted to remind you guys too, me and my buddy Dream Hoops have a Discord, and I'm going to link that in the description as well as pinned comment. Guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep this great work going. And now let's get back into talking about why the Milwaukee Bucks are just struggling. And I think obviously a part of it you have to mention is the missing of Khris Middleton. But the issue is, even when Khris came back, and obviously he can't come off a hard injury, will he ever be the same player? And if he isn't, what do you do if you're the Bucks? Jrue Holiday is an incredible point guard, but he's not necessarily there to help your offense. As good of a playmaker as he can be at times, part of the issue is also his just lack of scoring ability. And at that point, Giannis has the burden that he has, which is leading the league in free throws. So now, guys, let's dig into why the Bucks are struggling. So on this first play here, what we're going to take notice of is the transition offense on the Bucks. As you're going to see here, Giannis is going to start his drive, and as he goes in here against Patrick Williams, as he hits this little dribble move, automatically you have this right corner. You have the ability right here to hit Grayson Allen, and he hits him, but what's the issue? As he's wide open, he misses. The Bucks this season are 6th in three-point attempts, but 22nd in makes. Take less threes. If you're going to have moments like this right here with Javon Carter with a beautiful pass out to Grayson Allen, and you're just going to brick this shot with a wide open space, I'm sorry. But at this point, you just have to stop taking threes and be willing to move inside the perimeter. Otherwise, things are going to get rough. Now, this right here is something that's bothered me with the Bucks at times too. Why is Giannis on the perimeter here? Why is it with 6 or 5 seconds left in the shot clock, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the one taking your last second three? And while they're lucky that Brook got the out, at the same time, you should not be relying on this sort of play to be your main factor. They barely use Giannis in the PNR, and when they do, they never actually get him as a roll man. They always just kind of use it to set up somebody else in the perimeter who, again, they just can't hit their threes right now. And part of it is just you don't have one of your best players in Middleton. But at the same time, these are guys who you brought because they were good at shooting, because they would help space the floor for Giannis. But they haven't been quite executing that, so therefore, what are they doing? Because then on the defensive end, Grayson Allen especially is going to get abused, and then at that point, you're not getting much offensive production, and your defensive production is getting reduced, regardless of how good they are in terms of overall defensive rating. And again, they are a good team, you guys. I still have the Bucks as my team to come out of the East, but I'm not going to lie, as the more games have waned on, the more I started to question this pick. Because the Bucks are just looking like, again, one of the worst things to happen to them was winning that championship. Now, Emster, what do you mean? Well, I think the issue is that with Coach Bud as an offensive coach and the lack of adjustments he makes on the offensive end especially, teams just start to figure them out. And once they become figured out, it is one of the most stagnant offenses to watch. And in part, I cannot even lie to you guys, it's because Giannis is not taking the steps he needs as a playmaker. So for example, Giannis has the ball here. You're doubled by Karis LeVert and another big. You have Connaughton and Javon Carter wide open in the right corner. Why are you taking these fadeaways like you're Kobe? Be willing to just take that extra pass and you can get the best opportunities. So here what you're going to see is Giannis is going to get the ball. And honestly, I would have just gone with the Middleton dribble handoff here, being used as a screener. You could have created that separation, especially considering it was Klay Thompson. But no, instead Giannis is taking a three with enough time on the shot clock. And that's making me just question, what is the shot selection here? Again, you had wide open guys in the corner here, but you had a triple team instead, and you just decided, let's go fight the triple team. Which to me is just crazy to think about. It's just hard to see sometimes because, again, Giannis is actually a good playmaker. It's just he just has to do a tiny bit more, and I think he could be great at it, and I think it would greatly assist his team. But again, I think part of the issue is that even if he passes it out to these guys on the perimeter or on the corners, you would probably say, well, Emser, they're not shooting it well. Well, the problem is they're not doing anything else. These guys are not exactly helping Giannis attack the paint. They're not exactly helping create space for Giannis to try and drive down. So you have to at least try and get them the one thing they're good at, which is what the conundrum of this Bucks team is that they're so dimensionally built around Giannis that it's almost becoming limiting to him. And that now, especially with Middleton out, he has to do everything offensively. While you have Holiday to help playmake, the problem is that he's not a good enough playmaker to where Giannis can just sit back and be like, I don't have to worry about playmaking. Because look at this beautiful pass he hits right here into the right corner. And it's a brick. What do you want him to do at this point? Because now he's stuck on a double team and he's just having a hard time. And now I want to talk about Jrue Holiday. Someone who's only missed about 5 or 6 games for the Bucks, and just what his struggles have also brought to this team. So he gets the inside drive here on Claxton. Now you have Ingles and Portis right here on the wing and the perimeter, and again, you just go for this contested layup against a big that you're just not going to make. Again, Holiday's wide open here. Even with Ingles there, you should be making these shots, and he just bricks it. Now I understand, everyone has off nights, but Jrue Holiday isn't exactly shooting his best for this team either. Currently sitting at 47% from the field and 37% from 3. Now, the 37% has actually been impressive, but when you're 47% from the field as a whole, that means they're out of the 15 field goal attempts a game, and only 6 of those are threes. 9 of these buckets that are meant to be inside the perimeter, the Bucks just can't hit. So then Giannis is basically the only inside threat that is actually existing on the Bucks, and at that point, what is he meant to do? And while I understand that, yes, he has 7 assists a game, the thing with this, though, is that Jrue Holiday as a playmaker is solid, but Giannis and him are more of a complementary assisting duo. But just look at some of these clips. Like, why is Giannis standing on the perimeter? Why is Giannis not being utilized as a PNR? Why is Giannis not having good role men? Now, the question, of course, is, well, Emser, you're doing all this complaining for the Bucks. What should they do? Well, here's the issue with them. They're such a tight roster, and they have such good pieces on their bench. It's hard to just sit here and go, let's make a big trade. But they need to make a trade. And what should they go for? I honestly think they either need a new wing. While I love the way Joe Ingles has been playing for them, obviously he's a bench piece. He is not meant to be a starting 3. And the other issue is that with Middleton being out, and honestly, us just never knowing if Middleton will play the same again, it makes it really hard to figure out what exactly to do for this Bucks team. And are they a true contender? Obviously. I think, again, they're still my favorites to come out of the East, as I think they can put it together. But right now, my issue is not even going to be that Giannis is more inefficient. Again, he's taking some of the most shots in his career, and obviously with your second scoring option out and your third option obviously struggling, you're going to have to put up a bigger offensive load. That's just how the NBA is. But at the same time, I cannot just sit here and ignore and watch this half-court offense that is just so stagnant, that just for some reason only lets Giannis play in 5 out. Use guys on the inside. Set screens. Let Giannis be a screener to get guys on the inside even. Like, for example, right there, using Giannis as a screener to get Jrue a nice drive to the lane is all you really need to do. Help get others inside the paint, so that way you have to respect them, and then once they can start knocking down some of their three-pointers, which obviously, as we discussed, they just need to bring down their attempts, even more so than anything else, like the Lakers at the beginning of the year, I think their percentage will go up because they're not taking so many. So you guys, I understand it's one of my more rantish videos with some stats, obviously. But I want to know what you guys think. So leave a like, comment, subscribe. What do you think the Bucks should be doing? Who should they trade for? And where do they go from here? As always, you guys, this was Emser Knows Hoops. I hope you really enjoyed the video. And I'm going to be trying my best, you guys. But now I'm finally back in school, so that might just make things a little bit tougher. But I'll try my best to keep the same schedule. Peace out.